everyone, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is WatchMojo founder and CEO Ashkan Karbasfrooshan to discuss the Harvard Business Review article that says we need more startups that don't prioritize growth above all else. Now, we did another video about money-losing ventures, so do you agree with this? I guess.
Well, as we discussed in that video, I think the concept of venture capitalists and outside investors is to maximize their returns, right? So they will generally aim for the fence. There was a study that came out that most venture capitalists actually lose money on most of their investments, and they need the big home runs, the grand slams even, to make money. So I think that is more the nature of the beast. Now, one of the reasons why I was like, hey, the time seems right for something like context, work, life, play, balance, is because in as much as decades ago, you had corporate executives that realized, why am I killing myself for these kind of shareholders and this board of director that doesn't really care about me, and the second that they need to, they will push me off a bridge. I think a lot of entrepreneurs and startup employees also get that wait a second, unless I'm getting some kind of balance that fulfills me, that allows me to live a good life, and where my boss isn't driving me nuts 24/7, why am I killing myself for a bunch of investors that will lay me off or will fire us or will sell us to the highest bidder, even though then the new owner is going to come and kill us?
So I don't think that's exclusive to startups.
You don't think, or you do?
That people have to kill themselves for the bosses? No, it's not exclusive.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the dynamic with the startup is if there is venture capital, the end game is a sale. The end game is for the investors to get their money. Whereas if you work at a company, that's the point. If you work for a company that's just profitable and stable, it's a going concern. It could stay like that forever. There's no need for this extreme outcome to grow so fast, to drive so fast.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that all companies, like Walmart even, is still, they're just trying to maximize profits.
Oh, no, of course. Yes. But
and
that's
they're
because
squeezing the little guy.
No, absolutely. But you're still talking about these unique outliers, Fortune 500 companies, and Walmart's like a Fortune 5 or Fortune 10 company. These are the craziest of the crazies. But I'm just saying it's like a spectrum or like a cycle, but both venture-backed companies that are looking for an outcome and publicly traded companies that have shareholders on their back every day, those are the ones that are growth at any cost. Absolutely. So unless you didn't notice it, despite what some people might think, WatchMojo is actually pretty tame. We've never chased revenue at any cost. When I look at an opportunity, it's fundamentally, do I want to work with these people? Is this an organization I want to work with? Am I going to regret it? Am I going to kind of be like, why did we do this deal? But part of it is, I think slowly but surely, even entrepreneurs and employees at startups realize, they don't want to be in this rat race, right? So I think entrepreneurs, especially those that run boutique, I call it boutique business, VCs call it derogatory fashion, lifestyle business, as if it's something bad. But generally speaking, entrepreneurs like myself in some ways have always been treated as, amongst VCs, that I don't care anymore. When I was 10 years ago, I cared to win over, kind of irrelevant to my life right now. But VCs always view entrepreneurs who run lifestyle businesses as second-class entrepreneurs, which is kind of ironic, and one of the points of our next documentary, Paradox, which is YouTube specifically has created this whole class of entrepreneurs out of the Jeffree Stars, out of Ashkan Karbasfrooshan, out of PewDiePie, out of Michelle Phan, who actually did it without outside investment, right? And they could basically more or less, some of them are reluctant. I don't know, maybe Jeffree Star wanted to be an entrepreneur, maybe he didn't, right? But he's now sitting on top of this makeup fashion, he's an icon, and it's this empire that won't go away tomorrow. Reluctant, unlikely, right? Whereas these entrepreneurs who raised VC all of a sudden find themselves at the mercy of their investors. You look at Aaron Levy, who runs Box, publicly traded, worth a lot of money, but he wakes up and he sees that some investor group is now an investor in his company, and they're getting him to grow faster and push. So yes, I absolutely think that you are seeing this change. It might not be obvious to everybody because there's still this stereotype of all entrepreneurs want to raise venture capital and grow. But I think the same way you saw this revolution at corporate life, I think you're starting to slowly but surely see a lot of smart entrepreneurs say, wait a second, there's nothing wrong with running a lifestyle business. I don't need to grow. I've always said when it comes to costs, low enough is good enough. When it comes to revenue, as I explained, we don't chase every deal. We could oftentimes, when we hire somebody and the product doesn't take off, the right thing to do is to let them go. I'm always like, let's keep them around, which creates other problems sometimes. But I'm like, we'll keep them around because maybe we'll fit them in a different role. And I do think one of the reasons why we have this show and we discuss and I write and I blog is because I want entrepreneurs to know there is another way. You don't have to go raise money. I mean, sometimes you have to, but you don't have to go raise money, throw your principles out the door, and basically try to please a bunch of investors who frankly don't really care about your business. They just care about the return you bring them if you are the grand slam in the portfolio.
Something that I saw in the article was kind of the trade-off that some of these companies have to maximizing profits, like breeding toxic culture, worker exploitation, homogeneity in both leadership and shareholders. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I mean, I think it starts off with the sheer reality that whereas teammates, colleagues spend more time with one another and that becomes your family, so even if you may be a sociopath, you end up caring about some of these people. When you are an investor, you kind of have to answer to your own investors who gave you this money. So you don't care about, and you don't get to meet any of these people. You kind of have a rapport with usually the CEO, founder, and the CFO, maybe a few other execs. All you see is dollars and cents. So you tend to basically, at any cost, it's like, I don't care about the details, just get her done, grow. If your competitor is all of a sudden stealing market share, I don't care what you have to do, just basically, put a stick in their wheel, i.e. do bad things. And even if sometimes you have employees that are not, like we spend so much time making sure that people are happy, that we almost got to the point, and I know some people will roll their eyes, where we're like, I think we're spending too much time worrying about people's happiness, because compared to if you benchmark it to any other organization in media, we're not sweeping minds. There's not a high pressure environment where if we mess up, there are repercussions, that we're like, hey, let's kind of like tone it down. But if you're an investor on the outside, you don't care about any of those things. It's just dollars and cents, and how can I maximize my investment as fast as possible? And then sometimes, as much as you're like, business is supposedly all built to last. The concept of a going concern in accounting is that this is something that is ongoing. An investor will tell you that they are full of shit. Their portfolios generally want the money back in a time horizon of 5 years, 7 years. If they're in a company for 7 to 10 years, it's generally a bad sign, unless if it grows to be something huge. So there's kind of like the talk, and then there's the walk. And I think, again, that there's this revolution that very slowly but surely is happening, where entrepreneurs are becoming a bit more realistic. And part of that is because entrepreneurship is no longer this fringe thing. You don't only have a venture capitalist to give you money. You might have an angel investor who's your neighbor, your family member, and also banks are, I think at some point you're going to see banks actually doling out money much easier to start up like operations. And this is something that's going on, and I think will just accelerate.
Right. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think that we should need more startups that do not prioritize profits above all else? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.